welcome. My name is Cathie and this is Make It with Mod Podge. If you've watched before, thanks for coming back. Today we've got a really fun video for you. Steve's going to teach you how to use Photo Transfer Mod Podge to transfer a photograph onto a tote bag. And we're going to give it a little bit of a collage look by layering it up with trims and patches, and we're going to attach all that using the Fabric Mod Podge formula. Are you ready to do it, Steve?
Yes, Kathy, I am ready to do this, and thanks for that introduction, and welcome everybody. Today's gonna be a fun day because we have a really fun project with a really fun product, and that is photo transfer. This stuff is amazing, guys. We're gonna show you how you can transfer any photo onto a surface. Today we're gonna be doing it on top of a tote bag, so that's fabric, but this can also be done on top of wood, metal, terracotta, all sorts of surfaces. So why don't we just get started, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. The first thing you wanna do is get yourself a tote bag. This is the one we have right here. A lighter colored tote bag works best. The back surface works the best if it's a little bit lighter than your photograph. And this is the photograph we have chosen. So this is just a landscape photo with a road and some mountains behind, but of course you can do any type of family photo. Any of your favorite photos can be transferred on top of this tote bag or all different surfaces. Key, you want to make sure that your photo is printed with a laser printer, not an inkjet. Inkjet is wet, it's water-based, and that will smear. You have to make sure that it's laser printed. You can do that at any copy shop. Most of them have all the laser printers, so that's what this is right here. The next step is, if your photograph is smaller than the paper itself, meaning if there's white around there, you're gonna wanna cut that down to size, just like this one. Because if there is white on your paper, this will transfer also to whatever surface you're using. So make sure with a pair of scissors, very simple, just cut it down to look just like this. Okay, so let's get to the fun part. I'm gonna show you how to put the photo transfer medium on top of the picture itself, and then we're gonna place it right down on top of our tote bag. So let's do that next. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, guys, is we're going to prep our tote bag. What you want to do is, if you're using a bag like this, you want to make sure you just put a piece of wax paper right inside there. And this is going to prevent any leakage, seepage through the bag to the other side. So that's just a protector. So there's a wax paper in between there, and you're going to set that aside. Next, we're going to take our photograph here, face up, and we're gonna use our photo transfer medium here with a brush. Now the trick to this is, I like to just directly squirt some right on top of the photograph, just like so. And you're gonna probably add more. You wanna make sure you put a nice thick coat of the photo transfer on top of your photograph, to the point where you do not see the photograph itself. So you're just gonna spread that on, a nice thick layer, all the way across your photograph. Now I'm just putting this on like just randomly right now, but then I'm gonna smooth it all out with my brush strokes, all going kind of one direction and not so choppy. But that's towards the end. You wanna just first make sure you get a nice full coverage of the photo transfer media on top of your page. So I'm gonna add a little bit more here. I'm just gonna continue that on. Don't be afraid of putting it on too thick. Okay, so now I'm just going to, in one direction, just kind of smooth it out. Make sure it's all nice and even. And make sure you don't see any of that photograph underneath there, just like that. Okay, make sure you get all the corners and all the edges. Has little dark spots, we'll go over that again. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay, pick that up, I'm just going to put a piece of wax paper down just so we can protect our tote bag here. And then I'm taking our photo, grabbing it just by the edges, and I'm gonna drop it right into place. Right there. Making sure it's as even as possible. And we're gonna spread that on and push that down. Make sure you seal it, no wrinkles, nice and smooth. Hit all those edges, just like so. Just like that. And then the sad part, we're gonna have to wait 24 hours for dry time. Now, here's a quick tip also. We were very lucky, there's no edges, but if you have any spillover on the edges, you wanna just take a little bit of a damp cloth or a paper towel and you wanna wipe that off. We were very careful on this one, but if there were any little overages, you're just gonna wipe it down. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside and let that dry for 24 hours and voila. Here is one that has been drying for 24 hours and we're gonna move on to the next step. Now, the next step is using a sponge with some water. This has been dried for 24 hours. You're gonna take your sponge and you're just going to dampen the entire piece of paper. And you're gonna be able to start seeing that photograph coming through. Just like so. So a nice wet sponge and just let all that water seep in. Like that. I like to give it a few minutes, let it all soak in. And then we're gonna start the process of taking it off. Can you see that? Yeah, so there it is. There's our photograph right there. Now what we're really doing is we're really taking off that first layer of that paper on top of this photograph, and it's going to reveal the picture underneath. Now this process is going to be done about 4 times, and I'm gonna show you that with some step outs. So I'm wringing out my sponge a little bit right now with this little bowl that I have, getting it a little bit more dry. So this water is saturating right now the picture, and I'm gonna, in a circular motion, I'm going to slowly start revealing that picture. And you can see the paper coming up, and you can see that picture coming through. And that's exactly how you want to do it. That first layer is coming off, and this is permanent, guys. Once this is completely done, this image is permanent on your tote bag, and you're gonna be able to wash this. Now, people always ask, like, how do you dry it? You know, you can put it in the dryer, but I really suggest if you're gonna wash this, just air dry it, put it on the line, put it, you know, you can put it out in the sun. I just prefer that over the dryer sometimes. And you can see that this first layer is coming off. Isn't that cool? Let's get some of that off, and let's continue over here. You can see it comes off really easy once you get started. You just have to let that water saturate in there. And we're gonna take off this first layer, because there's a few layers. It looks really cool right now, but when it dries, it's gonna get all fogged up again, and you're gonna have to pull off another layer. Okay, so there is that first layer of paper, and that's what it kind of looks like, okay? Now, I'm gonna let this dry for another couple hours because there is going to be a second layer under there that we're going to want to reveal, and I just so happen to have a step out on that. Let me show you, and believe it or not, this is the way that second layer looks. Yes, so once it dries, it looks like this again. It's a little bit less, but you can still see that there's paper on there. So once again, I'm going to take my sponge with my water, and you can see how much more clear it is. And I'm just going to let that water soak in. One more time. And then again, I like to use a rotating movement. It pulls that paper right on up. You can see it coming up, and it's even more clear. You want to go over the entire picture again. Just keep doing it until you think you've gone over it 3 or 4 times. Brush that excess off. And you're gonna have to wait a couple hours between each time to do this. And I like to do it 3 or 4 times. The look of these are really kind of a vintage look. It's more of a kind of worn look, which is, you know, a really cool look. For it almost antiques it out a little bit. So there we go. And remember, you can do this with any photo. You wanna make sure it's a laser print photo, not an inkjet. If you guys are just tuning in right now, we're doing photo transfer. And this can be done, we're doing it on top of a tote bag. This can be done on wood, on top of metal, on top of terracotta. But we are using our photograph, our laser print photograph, not an inkjet, on top of our tote bag. Okay, guys, so there is the second layer down. Now, like I said, you want to do this 3 or 4 times or to the point where you like it, because again, once this dries, I'm gonna let this dry for another couple hours. I'm gonna see how it looks, and it'll get foggy again with paper, and then you're gonna definitely want to take off the next layer again if it's not what you like. This is done 4 times right here. And this is that kind of worn vintage look that I was talking about, this aged look. So very happy with this. I'm not gonna take off any more paper. There's really not too much left on this anyways, but I like the way it is. And now we are going to be adding some trim, some patches, little tassel, and we're going to embellish this. So let's start that. Okay guys, so let's add our embellishments onto this tote bag, and we are going to be using Fabric Mod Podge for this. We have a little bit of lace, we have some patches, we have a little tassel here. So what I like to do first is I like to definitely kind of lay things out before I glue them down and see where things might look the best or where I would like to put them. And I just kind of move them around and see where, you know, where they might look the best, where I want to place them down. And then maybe the tassel I'm actually going to put maybe up here on top of the handle, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. So I think something like this looks good. I like this piece of right down here on the bottom here. I like it going across the bottom. I like the rainbow here on the corner, a little bit on the slant. These 2 are patches, and I like this one maybe right on the edge of that, the road there. So let's do that. And again, I'm using the Fabric Mod Podge, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the ribbon on the bottom, this little piece of lace, and let's just flip it over. And I'm just gonna add it directly, let me make sure you guys can see that, directly onto the back of it. And this is Fabric Mod Podge, so this is fabric to fabric, works amazing. And again, all this can be put in the washer once it is dried for 24 hours. Anybody that's joining us a little bit late, we are doing photo transfer. We transferred a photo of our choice right on top of this fabric tote bag. It is a really cool process. It's fun to do also. So just make sure that you can, this will be on the site forever, and you guys can go back and take a look at it from the beginning. But it's basically, we put a photograph right on top of the tote bag by using the photo transfer medium here. And this is a laser print photo, no inkjet. Make sure it's a photo that is laser print only. Right now I'm doing some Fabric Mod Podge on top of this lace. And we're gonna add it right here on the bottom. You can see I put a nice amount on there. And we're just gonna place that right there. Again, you can kind of see it seeping through a little bit, but that's gonna dry completely clear. So let's just press that down all the way across. Get my rag here, wipe some of this off. There we go. And press that down and we'll move on over to the rainbow. So we're gonna be doing the same thing with the rainbow. We're just gonna add it right to the back of the patch here. And we're gonna place that down right on top of the tote. And again, you guys wanna let this all dry for about 24 hours. There we go, let's put it on a little bit of an angle, like that, press that down. I hope Cathie likes this. I hope she likes my design. Me and Cathie need to get back together, everyone. We can't wait until we're able to. We miss working with each other. We talk every day, and we definitely plan things out every day. So this is the result of what's happening right now, but we're making it happen, and we hope you guys are enjoying everything still. We're gonna place that right there. Okay, there we go. We're gonna just let that dry. And again, I'm going to add this tassel, and you guys can see this. I'm gonna see there's a little ring to it, so I'm just gonna add that right on top of there. And that's going to be my finished result right there. So we're gonna let this dry. We're not gonna leave it alone, not touch it for 24 hours. And there is the photo transfer tote bag. There you have it, guys, a photo transfer tote bag using the photo transfer medium by Mod Podge. We also use the Fabric Mod Podge to attach all those embellishments. Check this out, try it out. It's fun with the kids. This is all water-based, so it's fun. This is fun for the whole family. You can do family photos, pets, all sorts of things on top of all sorts of surfaces. We did the tote bag, but like I said, you can do it on top of wood surfaces, metal surfaces, even terracotta surfaces. So try it out and check it out. And we hope to see you next time on Make It With Mod Podge. Don't forget to hashtag Mod Podge and hashtag Plaid Crafts. We want to see everything you guys are making. And this week we would love to see if you guys do some photo transfer. We'd love to see that. So take care, and we hope to see you soon. See you next week. Bye.